Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So, this is the video that we've all been waiting for. I didn't think the day would come that I would finally be sitting down and making this video, but a verdict has finally been reached in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial, and today is going to be that video. We are going to sit down, we're going to talk about the verdict, we're going to talk about my reaction, we're going to talk about how Amber Heard reacted to the verdict, how Johnny Depp reacted to the verdict, what happened after. We're just going to be hitting like a bunch of points here. I cannot believe that it is finally over. For the last 7 weeks that this trial has been going on, it has literally been consuming my life, and not in like an unhealthy way, obviously. Don't let anything consume your life that much, but it has just been, it's been very eye-opening. It's been very educational for me to actually watch this trial play out, because for those of you who maybe don't know, defamation trials are extremely complicated and they are very, very hard to win. So watching a defamation trial be played out and watch it happen in real time has just been very interesting to me. And I am glad for Johnny and Amber that it's over. I'm glad that, you know, we'll talk about it. But yeah, so today I'm just going to put on just some light makeup today. I'm feeling a little tired, so I don't feel like doing a full beat. I'm just going to do some simple makeup and we're going to talk about it. So this is probably going to be the last video that I make on this trial, unless something astronomical happens, because you never really know with this kind of thing. This Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial has literally been exploding all over the world, and things are just coming out of everywhere. So I'm pretty sure this is the last video that I'm going to make on this trial, but if something happens, I may make another one. I'm not really sure. So without further ado, let's put some makeup on and let's talk about this verdict, shall we? So the verdict for the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial was finally reached on Wednesday, June 1st, 2022 at a little after 3 o'clock p.m. And it was kind of funny because I originally had planned on filming my reaction to the verdict. Like whenever the verdict was going to be read, I was going to be filming my reaction on camera and like putting it in this video. But lo and behold, the day that the verdict was reached, I was actually at work. And over the last few days, like after closing arguments were done and the case was officially handed over to the jury, over those last few days, I was listening to the live streams for the jury watch, like Law and Crime Network on YouTube. They would have like live streams where they would, you know, just talk about the trial, and it was basically like jury watch. So they would report on when the jury's going home, when they got there, if they've reached a verdict yet, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so the case was officially handed over to the jury on Friday, May 27th. That's when they did their closing arguments, and that's when the case officially went to the jury. And so the first day of deliberations for the jury lasted about two hours on that Friday, and then they went home. And it was right before Memorial Day weekend, so they were not going to be coming back to court to continue deliberations until Tuesday, May 31st. And I think I skipped listening to the jury watch on May 31st. I just kind of was like, you know what, I need to take a little bit of a breather from this, whatever. And then Wednesday, I was actually at work. And that day, I still wasn't listening to the jury watch. I was actually listening to music on my headphones. And as I was listening to music, it was maybe about like 1 o'clock or so, and all of a sudden, I got this gut feeling, like deep down, somewhere in like my heart of hearts and in my gut, I was like, I don't know, I feel like I need to listen to the jury watch right now. So I turned off my music and I turned on the jury watch live stream on YouTube. And I'm a dog groomer, so I can listen to music and I can listen to whatever I want through my headphones all day because I don't have any sort of contact with humans, thank God. I was like, I don't know, something's telling me to listen to this jury watch today. Like, I feel like today may be the day. And as I was listening to the jury watch, you know, they were talking about the closing arguments. They were just talking about like some highlights of the actual trial. And then all of a sudden, at around 1:30 p.m., they came back on the live stream and they said, breaking news, the jury has finally reached a verdict. And when I can't even tell you, my stomach dropped. Like, I was like, oh, did I hear that right? The jury came to a verdict. They made a decision today. So I was like, that just confirmed it right there, that like the gut feeling that I was having about this. I'm so glad I turned on the live stream when I did. I was just very, very nervous and I was like, oh my God, today is the day, honey. And the reason why I was so nervous is because, you know, watching this whole trial, I was very, 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 very nervous about it. And I mean, obviously, I wanted Johnny Depp to win, but to be perfectly honest with you, I had no, like, guarantees or I had no for sure feelings that he was going to win. And not because he's guilty of anything, but just because, like I said earlier, that defamation trials are very, very hard to prove. They are very, like, almost impossible to win. Defamation and especially malice are just very, very difficult things to prove in a court of law. So I had no idea what the verdict was going to be. I wasn't like, oh, he's for sure got this or Amber's for sure got this. But oh boy, was I wrong, because they came to a unanimous verdict. There was not a hung jury. Watching this whole trial, I firmly believed that Johnny Depp was telling the truth and Amber Heard was lying. But what a lot of people seem to keep getting mixed up is that this is not a domestic violence trial. This is not a criminal trial. This is a defamation civil case. So I was not for sure on who was going to win. And on the day that the closing arguments were done and the case was handed over to the jury, the judge told them that whenever they reached a verdict, that she would be announcing that verdict 1 hour from the top of the hour. So for example, if they reached a verdict at 12:30 in the afternoon, the verdict would be read at 2 o'clock. So on the day that the verdict was reached, on June 1st, they reached their verdict at around 1:30 p.m., meaning that the verdict was going to be read at 3 o'clock p.m. on June 1st, 2022. And once 3 o'clock rolled around, it was just pure chaos. Like, there was media rushing around the courthouse. There was helicopters. I wasn't there, but I was listening to like the live stream of everyone who was there. And it was just like, it was crazy. Like, huge props to the Law and Crime Network for actually supplying a live stream for that, because I really wanted to watch it live and I'm glad I was able to catch it live. And once it was 3 o'clock and the cameras went live into the courtroom, the gallery was full of people. People were able to get in to listen to the verdict being read. Both sides of the attorneys were there. So Amber's attorneys were there, Johnny's attorneys were there, the judge, obviously, everyone who's been there the whole time was there again. And Amber Heard was actually there for the verdict, which I was very surprised about. I didn't think she would actually go. Now, what did shock me and what did kind of disappoint me a little bit is Johnny Depp was not there when the verdict was going to be read. Apparently, he had some prior work arrangements in the UK or London or England or something like that, where he was going to be on stage playing a concert with musician Jeff Beck, and so Johnny could not be in Virginia for the actual verdict reading, but it was reported that he did watch the verdict being read live from wherever he was. And Amber Heard was there. Now, I said in one of my last videos that I really want both of them to be there when the verdict is being read, just because I feel like it would be kind of disrespectful if they weren't there, because, you know, the jury and the court has given up so much of their time, so I feel like the least you could do is be there for literally the last day. But unfortunately, Johnny was not, which does kind of suck. I would have really liked to have him there, but Amber Heard was there, which honestly kind of surprised me. And what I also found a little bit funny is Amber Heard was wearing her infamous black dress, which she considers to be her lucky dress. And this is the same dress that she wore when she went to the courthouse on May 27th, 2016 to get her DVTRO. And then she wore it again, that same black dress, for the UK trial against The Sun in 2020. She wore that same black dress. And the third time was on Wednesday, June 1st, 2022, when the verdict was going to be read. So I just thought that was a little funny that she decided to wear the exact same dress for the third time. But I think a third time wearing that dress was not a charm for her, because things didn't exactly go her way. Once everyone was in the courtroom and the cameras were finally live inside the courthouse, it was officially time for the verdict to be read. So everyone was seated, the judge decided to call in the jury, and this is when I was literally like biting my lip, but unfortunately there was a little bit of a delay. And that delay was before the verdict was read, the judge was looking over the jury papers, the verdict papers, or whatever the heck they're called, and she eventually called up both sides of the attorneys and they had a little bit of a sidebar. And after that, the judge told the jury that they need to go back to the deliberation room because one of the damages portions was left blank and the jury had to put in a number, whether that be $1 or $6 million, whatever. So the judge had to give them back the papers and they had to go back to the deliberation room and they had to fill that in. So that was like, oh, that was like such a killer moment for me. But one thing I did notice, kind of, I mean, I was working, so I wasn't paying too close attention. I just kind of noticed it when I like glanced at my phone. But after the attorneys walked back to their tables, after the little sidebar about the damages portion being blank, I did notice that Johnny Depp's team, Camille Vasquez specifically, I did notice when she was walking back to the table, she was smiling slightly, and you know, and then when Amber's attorneys walked back to their table, they were not smiling. So I was like, I wonder what that means. After about another 10-minute break from the jury going back and refilling out the damages portion, they were called, finally called back into the courtroom, and now it was officially time to read the verdict. And I was just shaking with nerves. I was literally losing my mind because I honestly I had no idea what to expect. So I was just like, oh my God. So as they started reading the verdict, the jury found evidence of defamation to be true, and all 3 arguments and statements made by Amber Heard in her December 18th, 2018 Washington Post op-ed. All of the answers were yes. And they even said yes to the fact that Amber Heard made those statements out of malice, which is like, I literally could not believe what I was hearing because, oh my God, that is so incredibly hard. I did not think that they were going to say yes to all 3 counts, but they did, which right then and there, hearing that, like the jury, yes, for all 3 statements, Johnny Depp won. And I remember the dog that I was grooming on this day when I was listening to the verdict, it was a beautiful bearded collie, and her name is Summer, and she's just like the quietest, calmest dog ever. Like, she's just so sweet. When I heard that first part of the verdict where the jury said yes to all 3 statements of defamation, I started cheering, I started clapping my hands, and this poor dog was looking at me like I had 5 heads. It was so funny. I was like, Summer, he won! He won! And this dog is like, what? So I celebrated the verdict read in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. I celebrated with a dog. And the whole time that the verdict was being read and, you know, like that first part of it, the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard side of it, the camera was on Amber Heard the entire time. And when she first got into the courtroom and right before the jury's verdict was read, you could kind of see she was like fixing her appearance. She was like straightening her dress. She was kind of like adjusting her hair because she knew the cameras were going to be on her, and she knew that this could either be a really big moment for her or a really sad moment for her, because she was like, okay, like if I win this, I need to be camera ready, you know what I mean? So she was kind of adjusting herself, and the whole time the verdict was being read, she was looking down and to the right the entire time. I don't know if they had like a copy of the verdict form in front of them, so I don't know if she was like reading along with it, but she was literally looking down and to the right the entire time that the verdict was being read, which I thought was very interesting. And for the very first time in all 6-7 weeks of this trial, the very first time, I could see and I could feel real emotion coming from Amber, because hearing this verdict must have really fucking sucked. And you could just feel like her emotion. Like for the first time this entire trial, she finally showed real emotion. You could tell she was upset. The way she was breathing very kind of shallow, very erratic at times. It was all very high up in her chest. So she was very upset. So the jury awarded Johnny Depp $10 million in compensatory damages and $5 million in punitive damages. So in total, Johnny Depp won about $15 million that Amber was going to have to pay. However, in the state of Virginia, they do have a state cap for punitive damages, and Virginia's state cap for those is only about $350,000. So in total, in the end, Johnny Depp won about $10.35 million, which is a huge win for him. And the compensatory damages, those are like compensation. Like we're going to pay, like we want Amber to pay him for going through this. Like those are compensatory damages, and punitive damages are punishment damages. So not only is Amber Heard supposed to pay Johnny Depp $10 million in compensatory damages, but the jury is making Amber pay $5 million as a punishment. So I thought that was very, very, very telling. I was like, oh damn, that right there just proved that her horrible acting on the stand did not fool the jury. Like the jury literally saw right through her, which I'm so grateful for, because I know all of us as just regular viewers saw that, but we weren't sure if the jury saw that. But apparently they did, because they made a point with their damages. And the fact that the jury did that, and the fact that the jury didn't believe her, must have really stung her like a dog stepping on a bee. If you know, you know. And then it came time to read the verdict for the counterclaim. So if you guys do not know, a lot of people seem to forget about this, and I don't know why. So Johnny Depp was suing Amber Heard for defamation, but then Amber Heard counterclaimed and is suing Johnny Depp for $100 million. That's like another little thing I wanted to talk about, is originally Johnny Depp was suing Amber Heard for $50 million, but he only got about 10.35. But yeah, anyway, getting back to the counterclaim, Amber Heard was counterclaiming and suing Johnny Depp for $100 million for defamation against the statements made by Johnny Depp's attorney, one of his attorneys, old attorneys, I don't know, Adam Waldman. So not only was the jury supposed to reach a verdict on the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, but they also had to reach a verdict for the Amber Heard versus Johnny Depp, the counterclaim. So there was a lot of jury instructions, there was a lot of jury notes to go through, there was a lot of things they had to read through and fill out. Like this was a lot, okay? This jury had more things to look at and fill out than some criminal trials. Like it was just crazy how much they had to read and fill out and go through. Well, for Amber Heard's counterclaim, there was a total of 3 statements made by Adam Waldman, Johnny Depp's old attorney, and the jury had to figure out whether or not, if all or if any of those statements were defamatory towards Amber Heard. And the jury only said yes to one. Only said yes to 1 out of the 3 statements. So they only found 1 of those statements to be defamatory to Amber Heard. And that's probably not what she was expecting. And the jury awarded Amber only $2 million in compensatory damages and 0 for punitive damages. So Johnny Depp was not going to be responsible for paying any sort of punishment fee to Amber. I thought was crazy, and that was a huge loss for Amber Heard. Like, Johnny Depp won by a landslide for this trial. And again, when the camera was on Amber Heard, when they were reading this, you could see and you could almost feel the real emotion and pain on her face. So it's like, it's just totally different from how she was acting on the stand and how she was reacting when the verdict was being read. Like, it was just completely different. It was a completely different person. The person on the stand was acting. The person listening to the verdict was showing real emotion. So after the verdict was officially read and everything was said and done, the judge then asked the attorneys if they wanted to poll the jury. Now, if you don't know what that means, basically it means that the court person, the lady who read the verdict, I don't know who it was, I don't know her name or anything, but the court person would go through and ask each jury member individually in front of the court, in front of the judge, in front of the attorneys, in front of the gallery, in front of the cameras, basically asking them if this is their verdict and if it was unanimous. So she would call out juror number 7, juror number 12, juror number 22. So she would call them out by their numbers, and they would have to say either yes or no if this was their verdict. And every single jury member said yes. So that right there just confirmed that the verdict was in fact unanimous. Johnny Depp wins against Amber Heard. And of course, the first attorney that said yes to the poll was Amber's attorney, Elaine Bredehoft. Like this, I'm sorry, but Elaine is the most argumentative attorney in that entire courtroom. Like, the whole time, like, if you guys watch any of the trial, Elaine was so incredibly argumentative with the judge. Whenever there was an objection, she would always argue it. So of course she would be the first to say yes to a poll. And I was seriously, like, I was so elated. I have never felt emotion like that before. I was so excited. I was so happy. I was so incredibly overwhelmed with joy for Johnny Depp. And what made it even better is I celebrated with a dog. Like, I was like picking up her paws and I was like, he won, he won, he won. Like, I was just so excited. And it was even better because Johnny Depp won this case on June 1st, 2022. Johnny Depp's birthday is on June 9th. He would be 59 years old. So like, what a great birthday present. Happy birthday to Johnny Depp. Justice was finally served. And not only that, but June 1st is also Marilyn Monroe's 96th birthday. June 1st, 2022, Johnny Depp won his case against Amber Heard, and Marilyn Monroe would have been 96 years old. So it was just like, oh my God, it was so freaking cool. It was such a great day. Johnny Depp was finally, after 6 grueling years of dealing with this, he was able to finally sit down, tell his truth, tell his story, reveal very intimate personal details about his life, because if you don't know, Johnny Depp has always been a very private person with his life, but he went out there, he told his story, he told his truth, he proved to the world and to a jury of his peers that Amber Heard was lying. And he was able to prove that he was innocent. Is he a complete saint? No, but he is not an abuser. He is not a wife beater. He is not domestically violent with any of his partners. Amber Heard told him to tell the world. He told the world. We heard it. We listened and we believed him. And in the end, he won. Justice was served. That was it. The trial was officially done, but that's not where things end, my friends. After the trial is when things got real interesting. Elaine Bredehoft, who was the attorney for Amber Heard, all of a sudden she started doing interviews. She was going on like Good Morning America, other like morning news shows like that, and she was doing interviews talking about the trial, which yes, she is allowed to do, but also what the fuck? And let me just tell you right now, her interviews that she did were not received well by the public at all, and I was very disappointed in her because, you know, she was, every time she interviewed one of Johnny's witnesses, she would always say that, oh, you're looking for your 15 minutes of fame. Bitch, what are you doing? What are you doing going on like Good Morning America talking about this shit? Like, what are, like, you're the one looking for your 15 minutes of fame. And I'm sorry, but she was just like, she can't accept this loss. Like, she was acting like Amber Heard. She was blaming everybody else except her and her team for losing this case. Like, she was blaming the jury. She was saying that the jury looked at social media, which she can't prove. So, like, what the hell are you saying that for? Second of all, she was blaming the judge. She was blaming Johnny's attorney, saying that they weren't playing fair. She was blaming the fact that they couldn't have certain evidence admitted into this trial. It's like, no, Elaine, you lost, and it's your fault and your client's fault that you lost. Quit blaming it on every other person except yourself. Like, she was literally acting like Amber Heard in these interviews, and it was disgusting. And she also stated that Amber Heard does in fact plan to appeal this verdict, which I was flabbergasted by for a couple of reasons. One, Amber Heard said multiple times on the stand, and she was bibbling and babbling multiple times, that she just wanted Johnny to leave her alone and she wanted to move on with her life and she wants everybody to just move on with their life. However, now she plans to appeal to keep this thing going. It doesn't sound like you want him to leave you alone at all, and it doesn't sound like you want to leave him alone at all, because you keep messing with this. If you truly wanted to move on, if you truly wanted this to be done, you wouldn't appeal appeal. You would accept your loss, you would take responsibility, which she has a very hard time doing, by the way, and she would move on, but she just can't seem to do that. And secondly, do you even know how much it costs to appeal a verdict like this, especially in a high-profile case like this? Do you even know how expensive that is? So let me get this straight. Amber didn't donate the $7 million between the ACLU and the Children's Hospital of Los Angeles because she didn't have the money. She definitely doesn't have the money to pay Johnny Depp for what the jury awarded Johnny Depp, but all of a sudden she has all of this money to appeal a verdict? Make it make sense. It doesn't make sense. It is so expensive to appeal, and she's not worth that much. She's not a very rich person. I mean, she, maybe $2 million or $1 million or $1.5 million was her net worth. And now she's in the hole for $10.35 million, but now she has money to appeal this verdict. Is Elon Musk still paying her? You know, because this just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. It's ridiculous to me. And when Elaine said that, Amber Heard planned to appeal in these interviews, she was talking about a little bit about what she was going to use for the appeal, because Amber has mountains of evidence. Bitch, don't even get me started. Your mountains of evidence, Johnny Depp sleeping, a kangaroo outside of a house. This bitch even used the same picture for 2 separate incidences. The one with the wine bottle spilled on the floor with the wine on the floor. Yeah, she used that picture twice in her testimony, but she used it for a May incident, and then she used it for a December incident. This bitch doesn't have any evidence, okay? And the things that Elaine wants to use for the appeal, she can't use. For example, she wants to use things from the UK trial, which she can't do because that was a completely different trial. That is another thing that people keep getting confused and mixed up here, is the UK trial has absolutely nothing to do with the US trial that just took place in Fairfax, Virginia. They are 2 completely different things, and I'll tell you why. 1, Johnny Depp was suing The Sun, which is a UK magazine publication. He was suing them because The Sun called him a wife beater. So Johnny Depp was suing The Sun. He was not suing Amber Heard. Amber Heard was a witness for that trial. She was not a party. She was not a defendant. She was not a plaintiff for the UK trial. Also, the way that trials are done in the UK compared to how they are done in the US are completely different. For example, the UK, they did not use a jury of peers to come to a verdict in that case. They used a judge, and that judge is very, very biased because there's all kinds of connections to Amber Heard, something like that. It's a huge web of thing. And also, the UK also allows a lot of hearsay, things that we just don't use in US trials. The UK allows a lot more to come in to a trial compared to the United States. And Elaine was also talking about how she wants to use text messages from Johnny's assistant, Steven Duders or something like that. She wants to use those text messages about how the time Johnny kicked Amber in the back, which she can't do because that's hearsay. It will never be admitted. It will never be allowed to be used in trial, and it will definitely not be allowed to be used for an appeal. And Elaine argued so many times in these interviews how unfair this trial was to her and her team and to Amber because they couldn't use half the evidence that they had, which Elaine seems to forget for some reason, that evidence couldn't be used because it was found to be unreliable or tampered with in some way. So don't use that argument, sweetheart. Your client just provided really fucked up evidence that can't even be admissible in a court of law. So maybe you should bring that up with your client and not blame everybody else for it. And it's kind of funny because if you guys remember on Amber Heard's first day of cross-examination with Camille, and Amber was talking about how she uses the words pledge and donate synonymously, Elaine is doing the same thing with doctor's notes and therapist notes because those are 2 completely different things, but Elaine keeps saying that they're the same thing. So Elaine is saying that she wants to use doctor's notes. They're not doctor's notes, they're therapist notes. 2 totally different things. They are not synonymous with each other. She cannot say a therapist note is a doctor's note. You can't do that. And of course, both Amber Heard and Johnny Depp came out with statements after the verdict was read. Johnny Depp's was very, very heartwarming. It made me tear up a little bit. Amber Heard's, it was exactly what we, expected. She was babbling about the First Amendment right and how she has the right to talk about whatever she wants. But what Amber doesn't seem to realize realize is you can't slander, you can't libel, you can't defame somebody. You can say whatever you want, but you need to be prepared to accept the consequences of those things. The First Amendment right does not protect you against defaming somebody. So maybe she needs to freshen up on the Constitution, because this bitch just doesn't understand. And neither one of them have done any sort of open interviews or have gone on TV or have talked to anybody, which I think is a very good thing. I don't think either one of them should for a long time. I think this needs to kind of cool down a little bit, especially because with how crazy and wild the mainstream media is acting right now. Like, the mainstream media is like, this is worse than the trial, okay? So hopefully Johnny and Amber just stay quiet for a little while until some of this can kind of, blow over, because it's a fucking mess out there right now, guys. Like, ugh. It's so frustrating to see. Now, as far as what's going to happen next, I don't know what's going to happen. I truly believe deep down, I don't think that Johnny Depp is going to go after that $10.3 million that was awarded to him. I really don't, because Johnny Depp, he's not after the money. He wanted to get his truth out, and he wanted to get his story out, and I think that's the only thing that matters to him. I will be very surprised if he does go after the money or if he makes Amber pay it. I don't think he will, and I truly don't know how Amber Heard is ever going to be able to pay it, because even if she were to file bankruptcy does not get you away from these kind of court damages. You know what I mean? So even if she files bankruptcy, she's still responsible to pay that money, and I don't know how she's going to do that, because, I mean, it's pretty safe to say that her career is fucking over. And Amber Heard she's pretty deep in the hole money-wise, okay? Like, this bitch is in some serious debt. Do I feel bad for Amber Heard? Do I feel bad for her? No, not even a little bit. I do not feel bad for her. She took it upon herself to lie. She took it upon herself to make up allegations about domestic violence against Johnny Depp, and she made every survivor of domestic violence, she just made them look so uncredible, and she insulted every real victim of domestic violence and sexual assault. I don't feel bad for her. I feel like her doing this, she got everything that she deserved. She lost her career, she has no money, and she's looked very down upon. And no, I don't feel bad for her, okay? You made your bed, now fucking lie in it. Even with the shit. Lie in your shit, Amber. And like, let's be honest, she was lying through her teeth the entire time she was on the stand. Literally every human being out there saw right through her. And I just hope out of all of this, I hope Amber Heard truly learned her lesson about not to lie about things like this, because this is something you don't fuck with. This is something you don't lie about, okay? Johnny said fuck around and find out. She fucked around and she found out. Now, so far, none of the jury members have come forward. None of them have done interviews. None of them have talked about certain things. And the judge did tell the jury members that she was going to be sealing their identity for 1 whole year. So basically what that means is that us as the public or news reporters or anything cannot find these jury members because their identity has been sealed. However, if the jury members want to come forward on their own accord, they totally can. So we can't look them up for interviews, but they can come forward if they want to and do interviews, write a book, do a documentary, TV show, whatever. They are perfectly allowed to do that. There was a rumor about how juror number 7 apparently has come forward and he made a bunch of TikTok videos. Personally, for me, I don't believe it's real. I think it's fake. It hasn't been 100% verified that that was a real jury member coming forward, but there are rumors that one of them has come forward, but I don't believe that it's real. That's just my opinion. Don't believe everything you see on TikTok, especially TikTok. Don't believe everything you read. Nothing has been verified about a jury member coming out. So the rest of the settlements and conditions and payments and all of the little loose ends of this trial are going to be wrapped up in court on the 24th of June, and we basically go from there. Now, as far as the appeal, when will the appeal be presented? When will that be brought forward? We honestly don't know anything yet. How an appeal works is Amber will have to pay upfront money to have an appeal, and the appeal will be brought in front of a panel of judges, and it'll have to go up each level of court, and those higher up people will decide if the verdict is going to be overturned and if an appeal is going to be granted. If an appeal is granted, there is a possibility possibility of a whole other trial with a whole new jury, which that would be such a goddamn nightmare. I personally don't think that an appeal is going to be granted in this case. I really truly don't. But again, you never know with the justice system. Sometimes it comes completely out of left field and it just shocks the shit out of you. So I will be very surprised if an appeal is granted. Now, one thing I did learn is that a verdict is not exactly set in stone for 21 days in the state of Virginia, I'm pretty sure. So, and if a jury member were to come out and say something, Amber's attorneys can use that to overturn the verdict, and they can use that in their appeal. So the jury has to stay quiet for at least 21 days. That way, Amber's attorneys cannot use anything they say in their appeal. So fingers crossed, the jury members stay quiet for a total of 21 days. And you know, like I said, if Amber Heard was truly scared of Johnny Depp, if she was truly frightened for her life about this whole thing, she wouldn't be appealing right now. She would move on. She would accept her consequences for her actions, and she wouldn't keep fighting this. Yet she keeps wanting to fight this, and she refuses to move on. I'm sorry, Amber Heard is not scared of Johnny Depp. She's not. I'm sorry, she's not. Amber Heard is a very narcissistic person, so for a narcissistic person, it's very difficult for them to swallow their pride and do what they need to do, and that's just something Amber's not going to do. She won't go down without a fight. She is a very sick person, and I really do want Amber Heard to get help. I do think she needs very strict psychological help. It really does concern me that she has a child. I really do worry about that child because it's not easy growing up with a mentally ill, narcissistic parent. I can tell you that right now. And I'm just like, I want Amber to get help, not only for herself, not only for the people around her, but for her child. She needs to start thinking about the people around her. She needs to start thinking about her child, and she needs to get help for her daughter. And as far as Johnny Depp goes, I wish absolutely nothing but the best for him. Having this win, you know, it's such a rebirth moment for him. It's such an amazing way to finally start over and to finally live your life without this 1,000-pound weight on your shoulders. He told his story. He told his truth. A jury found him to be credible, and now he can have a whole new life and he can thrive. And I just hope that he has a very fulfilling, happy, and calm life moving forward. And I hope his career starts going on the up and ups. There are rumors about a Beetlejuice 2 movie that he is going to be in. He's going to be in a Robert Downey Jr. movie, the Sherlock Holmes movie. You know, he's coming out with an album with Jeff Beck. Like, it's just like, it's all looking really good for him, and he absolutely 100% deserves it because he went through hell, absolute hell, and he finally got it out, and it's finally over with, and I just want nothing but the best for him. And I want to see him do great things, and I truly believe in my heart of hearts that he is going to continue to do great things. And that was my full video on the verdict and what happened after in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. Oh my gosh, you guys, I feel like this was such a good video to kind of wrap everything up. I'm so excited. I'm so happy. Like, this was just such a great outcome. I just want to say thank you to all of you guys who stuck with me and watched all of my trial videos. I think this is my 5th video on this. If you would like to, and I would greatly appreciate it, my channel has officially become eligible for Super Thanks, which is basically like a tip jar. Right at the bottom of every single one of my videos, there is a little heart with a money sign in the middle, and it says thanks. It's just a way for you guys to click and give me a little bit of a tip, whether that be $1, $5, $500. It doesn't really matter to me, but if you are interested, I would greatly appreciate some tips. And it's just basically a way for me to guarantee to continue doing YouTube and making videos and taking the time to do these videos. So if you would like to give a tip, the option is down below underneath all of my videos. If you guys enjoyed this video, please go down and give it a huge thumbs up. If you are new to my channel and this is the first video of mine that you are seeing, make sure you go down and hit that red subscribe button. I do upload every 3, 4, sometimes 5 days here. I love you guys so very much. Thank you again so much for watching, and I will see you very soon in my next video. I love you guys. Bye. Mwah.